I have a lovely video for you this week, if I do say so myself. I'm going to set up a budget-friendly DIY seed station so we can grow our own cottage garden. We finally had some sunshine, so I'm going to bring you on a beautiful walk as well. And let's have a debate about seed soil and if it's a scam. Pop the kettle, settle in, and I hope you enjoy this video. Before I begin on my seed sowing journey for 2025, I needed to pop to the shop. Any excuse to go to the garden centre. I actually wanted to see if I could pick up some seed compost. But in a few minutes, I'm actually going to chat about seed compost. And is it a bit of a scam? But anyway, any excuse to have a little nosy around, see what bulbs are grown and what plants have come into the garden centre. Also, I went to Deals just because I was passing. Now, something I've noticed is I'm after getting a lot of stuff for seed sowing from Lidl and Aldi this week, and they are so much cheaper compared to the stuff that's in the garden centre. So propagation sets, I was just having a look at the price at the ones in Woodies. So if you do have a Lidl or Aldi, both of them seem to have seed sowing equipment this week, and it's a fraction of the price. Also, when things are cheaper, there is the argument, is the quality going to be any good? But if you're just starting out with your seed sowing and you are on a budget, then obviously try the cheaper stuff and see. The containers that I did get out a little seem to be quite strong and sturdy in comparison to the ones that I got last year from the garden centre. When I was walking past Deals, I saw a big sign in the window that said they had garden stuff, so I went in to have a little look. Now, if I'm being brutally honest, the stuff was better that was in Lidl and Aldi, but I do know that their stuff is only on the special buy for the week or 2 weeks and then it's kind of gone. They did have some of the paper seed trays, and there was a couple of bits. They had a lot of bulbs, they had some summer bulbs, and they had some roses. And then there was things like, plant food and stuff, but I haven't used these before, so I don't know what they're like. I have used stuff from Deals a good couple of years ago, but I don't know what this stuff is like now. Hello, you will have to excuse my greasy hair because I was like, if I'm going to be in the garden, I ain't washing my hair. We have to time hair wash day. My ladies will understand. Timing your hair wash day. Now, I went down a rabbit hole of seed compost. Also, we are in the park. I'm going to do my walk and then I'm going to go to the walled garden. Last week's video was torrential rain. We didn't get to go. I will promise you, once I do my 5k, we are on our way. Seed compost. I went down a rabbit hole and I'd love to get your opinion as well. Is seed compost a gimmick? I was doing a bit of the Googling and the YouTubing, and last year my seed sowing journey wasn't amazing. The weather wasn't great and I just relied on my greenhouse. I had no grow lights, I did no heat mats, nothing additional. Just put them in compost in a seed tray, propagator lid. Germination was awful. I'd say out of all the seeds, like a third of the seed tray would germinate for me. I remember last year chatting to a couple of yous and yous were saying the similar thing. We had a very rainy spring last year in Ireland and I think in parts of the UK as well. So this year, I feel like with the seeds, I think I need to do something a little extra to get a higher yield. So last year, I did actually use seed compost. And so the rabbit hole I went down was, some people say seed compost is a bit of a gimmick and just save normal compost. But then the other side of the argument is you don't want to introduce any bacteria to your seedling, because it can't handle it. So with your if you take compost out of the garden, that will have lots of different bacteria and fungi, and the seed, it could damage the seed, or the seed might not germinate or whatever. I mean, there's also the argument of when you sow directly into the soil, you're sowing into soil that's full of both healthy and possibly non-healthy bacteria. But we've to treat our seedlings like little babies. So I didn't get any seed compost in the garden centre because it was sold out. The girl was like, it's gone. It flies out really quickly. So my local people are obviously buying the seed compost. I think I have half a bag of seed compost from last year in the greenhouse. So we can do a little experiment, and I can do one or two. I'd say I have enough for 2 trays of seeds. And then I got some young compost. Also, a lot of people kind of say, and I tend to agree, a lot of, when you go to the garden centre and there's all these different composts for different things, like 1 compost, 2, 3, 4. A lot of people say that's a bit gimmicky as well. Like, you can just add things to your compost, whether it's perlite or vermiculite, and change the structure of it depending on the plant. Obviously, if it's ericaceous soil, like, I'm not a soil expert at all. And actually, last week I was on RT with Mary Staunton, and these are the questions I should have asked her. She's a fountain of knowledge. I love Mary. Such a lovely woman. Actually, you can listen back to that on playback. So it was the 5th of March? No, it wasn't. It was the 25th of February. It was the 25th of February. RT won Clareburn, and we were on at 11:45, so we were the last people on. We were the last contributors on. Where was I going there? Yeah, seed compost. Do you use it, or do you just save your multi-purpose and get on with it? Are you... Yeah. And also, I'm not sowing... If I had big polytunnels and I was relying on my seed to bring me money, as in, like, let's say I was growing vegetables, or I was growing plants to sell, and like I was a production. I am just a hobby gardener. I just want me zinnias to do better than they did last year, me cosmos and me bits, like yeah. So obviously I can experiment and I'm a bit more lax, but there's professionals out there who obviously rely on the soil health to get them seeds going, because that's their livelihood. I was also saying in last week's video just about, feeling the fatigue. Obviously you can see it's a sunny day today, and I've come to the conclusion that my mood is the Irish weather. It will be sunny, and then the rain will come, hail will come, and then 2 minutes later it's sunny again. But a couple of you, I was actually just looking at sometimes what I do when I'm sitting having my coffee, I'll go through the YouTube comments, and so if you ever get like a reply at 10 or 11 a.m, I'm probably sitting in the car drinking my coffee replying to comments. But one thing I like obviously, I don't want to be moaning and giving out, but sometimes when I do, people find it relatable and it makes them feel like less alone. So a couple of people were saying like, yeah, they're feeling that kind of February fatigue. Like March is great because the clocks are going to change. And do you know what I've noticed as well? I had this epiphany as I was driving here. And I'm sure some of you can relate, I'm always trying to fix myself when there's probably nothing wrong. So what I mean by that is, so I actually had a blood test on Friday, and I got the results this morning, and they were grand. The only thing that was down was my folic acid was slightly down, but nothing, like, not dangerously low. Surprisingly, I actually had vitamin D. And a few people had said, vitamin D this time of year, you're probably lacking, and, but I think being outside all over winter and doing me walks, even when I don't want to at times, that has kept my vitamin D up. Now, granted, it was on the lower end of acceptable. Like it was green, but it was at the bottom of the green. But I actually had vitamin D. But I'm gone off topic again. We're always trying to fix ourselves, or at least I am. And instead, something I've been, learning with, therapy and anxiety is if you just accept, instead of being like, oh no, I have a bad mood, I must try and fix this. So I think maybe that's why I'm exhausted, because I'm always trying to fix something or myself. When actually, instead, if I'm just, well, let's accept this. And even the feeling of acceptance just gives you, your energy just kind of relaxes, doesn't it? So I'm going to try and just accept it for a little bit instead of trying to push upstream. Isn't that the phrase? When you're trying to swim against the current. I feel like that's what I do sometimes. Swim against the current. So I'm glad that some of you could relate to the kind of, just that kind of feeling of mental fatigue this time of year. Some people were saying it could be just coming to the end of the winter, and we're all just kind of tired of the winter, aren't we? And I suppose you have to remember, we did have a lousy summer last year, didn't we? And I haven't had a sun holiday. Like, I didn't go away oh no, I did. I went away in April last year. I went to Morocco. So I was in London for work, but I haven't had a holiday. I am going away with my niece and nephew very soon. I'm really excited. My niece and nephew watch the channel, so I don't want to say any more, but I will in the future. So I'm looking forward to that. So that's going to be a nice trip. It's not to the sun, but it's to somewhere really fun. So I think that will boost my energy. So I'm going to go do me 5k. And then when I come back, we will go to the walled garden. And because I just know the spring bulbs are going to be bulbing. And I can have a little look. And then when I go back, we can set up our seed station. And also, you don't have to start your seeds because, like, some people in Canada and America still have snow. So don't go, just because you see me doing something, go by your climate, if that makes sense. You don't have to do what I'm doing at this time. You might be a few weeks behind. You could be a few weeks early. You could be in Australia and you're getting ready for your autumn bulbs. So, as always, just, you don't have to do what I'm doing. I never want anyone to feel pressure like, oh my God, she's doing her seeds. I'm not going to do them all. I'm only going to do a few. Okay, beautiful day. I'm going to swallow this and off I go. The difference between when I was here in January and March, so you can see all of the new growth, and a lot of the beds look like they've had some mulch. There's loads of spring bulbs, loads of hellebores. There's still some snowdrops as well. I'm after seeing loads of honeybees going around. And then you've got like some cyclamen in here. It's just looking, you know what, when you see that new growth, it just makes any old dead growth just disappear. Your eye is just drawn to the new and the green. Like, this is absolutely beautiful. This is a tonic. This is serotonin. And actually, if you look at this hellebore, and I'm going to just move the camera down. If you look down here, there is so many bees. So I think that looks like borage, but I'm not sure if it is, the purple flower there. Maybe it's a variety of borage. But it's full of bees, full of honeybees, Apis mellifera. And then this hellebore as well. There's a little bee buzzing around it. And I was saying in last week's video when I was at the bees that they were coming in with pollen baskets. So this is what they were foraging, because I was wondering, like, what are they foraging? But yeah, that's probably what it is. And a lot of the trees are a lot of the winter trees are coming into flower as well. I was chatting to Mary last week. I was saying about my tree that's flowering, and she was saying that's a winter prunus, so it has a darker bark. And she was saying, like, the ones that flower in, I think, like May time, that's a summer variety. So the variety I have that flowers late February into March is a winter prunus, or a winter variety. So there you are. The time has come to create a seed sowing station, and I am experimenting with some grow light. Now, I got really lucky with this shelf unit. I saw a shelving unit in a Lidl, and it was made with metal and it had wood slats that go across, and it was kind of heavy, but it was €25. But I went into a different Lidl planning to buy that one, and then I found this one. This one is made from a hard recycled plastic and it's much more lightweight. And what I like about this is, as you can see when it's all flat packed, it's much easier for me to store this because I only need this while I am sowing seeds. If you remember last year's seed sowing video, I had made tables to put the seeds on. I was using my woodwork table legs, and I was making makeshift tables with planks across them. This shelving unit is absolutely perfect, and I can also put it into 2 halves so that it will fit in the greenhouse better. Also, I was delighted when I opened it up to see that there's like these, I'm going to call them drainage holes, but they're not, they are perfect as drainage holes. I don't think they manufactured it to be a garden shelf, but if you come across this, it is a perfect garden shelf. But there is these little holes on it which make it absolutely perfect for me to hang grow lights off it. So I can really easily, with a cable tie, hang the lights off the shelf. So this was a happy accident. If you come across one of these in Lidl, snap it up. It was the same price, but I think it's going to be better for your seed sowing. And you could probably fit it in one of the, you know, those pop-up tent greenhouses that you walk into. They also had one of them in Aldi for $34.99, and I reckon you could fit this shelf inside of it. Okay, this was not what I had in mind. Things have escalated. I was like, I'll just get some grow lights, and you know, this has turned into, you know, I think if the guards saw the light coming from this room, they would think I was growing some funny stuff. I was just gonna just do, you know, a little shelf and a grow light, but you know what? We're going all out. This also took longer to set up than expected, and there is feet off it. So I could do, well, I don't know. There's little legs that go on this. I have them here. Ignore the state of this. So there's these little things, but I just kept it on the flat because you probably saw when I was putting it together, it's a bit buckety, but like it's grand for what we want it for, which is growing funny stuff. No, we're not growing anything funny. Yeah, so this has turned into, yeah. I also have a bit of space on top, but I've used all the lights. So there was 1, 2, 3. There was 4 lights in that pack, and they're put on with cable ties. Their cable ties did come. So there's this little clip, and I am just getting really lucky with how things have just fallen into place because there's little grids, and I was able to just stick it on. Whereas the original shelf I was going to buy was a wood surface. So if you can find one of these in Lidl, snap it up, because even like if you had this in a greenhouse or a polytunnel, because it's plastic, it'll last, and it also has little drainage holes. So even if you had obviously no electricity, no grow lights, and you were watering stuff, it drains through. So I hope you can get your hands on one of these. So the sun has gone in and I've lost all motivation. It's now 4:30. Bon has come in. He's looking for his dinner. I'm going to tidy up my mess, and then in the morning what I'll do is I'll get all my seed stuff that I started washing some of them, and I can actually do the seed sowing tomorrow, because you know when your brain needs to shift from doing all of this to actually getting in the flow to sow some seeds. But before I go, I picked these up yesterday in Aldi for €2, and last year I paid I think €8, €9, €10 for ones out of Woodies. They were the grocer ones. Now, I don't know like the difference in the quality, but if you are looking for these paper seed ones, they had 2 different sizes in Aldi. That was Sunday just gone. I got these, so it's recent enough. So yeah, I'm going to go to jail because I did not mean to have such a fantabulous seed propagation station. Do you think my local police will think I am growing funny stuff? Also, I think they go on a timer as well. I do have a timer switch from the Christmas tree, but I think the instructions said if you stick this on at 8 in the morning, it will turn off at 8. I think you can set it for 10 hours, 8 to 10 hours. Also, another thing, my electricity bill. I'll have to think about that. But I think what I'll do is maybe 8 hours. So if I put it on Like, I think some seeds need 8 to 10 hours. So well, let's see if we can get away with 8. But yeah, this is pretty fancy. I hope it works. Now you might be wondering, why do you have this here and not in your greenhouse? So I have it here. I do have an electricity outlet in my greenhouse, but it's warmer in my office and I'm able to keep a closer eye on it. And I also have more outlets in the office if I need to. So far I'm going to be using 2 plugs. So this is my experiment. I got some grow lights off Amazon. I'll pop a link to them. Now, I have to start off by saying I am not a grow light expert or anything like that. And I'm sure there's different wattages and different spectrums of light when it comes to seeds. So I'm going in pretty amateur. But I just wanted to level up on last year because something I have realised is the lighting in March I don't think is sufficient in my greenhouse to get the seeds going. So last year I did have some successes. I did get things going, but like a third of the seed tray germinated. So this room is warmer and I have the artificial light on it. So let's see if I can have a better luck with germination. The lighting is really good in the greenhouse in April as the lighting changes. So what I can do is I can bring the seedlings then into the greenhouse once they've gotten going, where they can continue to grow on. I'll pot them on and then they'll be ready to go outside. So that is my rough plan. So when it comes to sowing the seed, I sieved the soil as best I could. So some people will use multi-purpose compost that you get in the garden centre or that they already have in their composter, and they will sieve it until it is really, really fine. I actually don't know why you do this for seedlings. I'm going to assume that the seed is really fine in itself and that lovely fine soil makes it easier for it to push through and grow roots, but that is just me making an assumption. If you have the correct answer, please leave it in the comments section. So I have my soil nice and thin and then I'm literally popping it into the pots, and then I water the seed tray before adding the seed, because what can happen is, and it's happened to me in the past, I have pushed my seeds into the soil, I'll come along with my big heavy watering can and plop the water, I don't know where the seed has gone, which now that I say this out loud, that was probably my problem last year. So I used the little mist setting that is on my hose to mist over the soil, get it lovely and wet, but not obviously too wet and soggy. I just want it nice and damp, but not drenched. And then I will pop my seeds into it. The seeds that I'm using, so today I am sowing some cosmos, some zinnias, some cornflowers, some helianthus, and some lemon balm. I'm just trying to think, did I sow anything else? And this is just my first round, I suppose, of seed sowing today. I'm not going to try and get everything done in one day. I think it's nice to just tip away at it. But I also ran out of compost and the little paper pots as well. So I do need any excuse to go to the garden centre. We could go to a different garden centre next time and I can pick up supplies and then I can start sowing the rest. But I just wanted to get started because it is March. But like what I said earlier in the video, if you are still in a growing zone where the weather is quite cool and it's very wintry, don't force start things just because, you know, you see other people doing it. Definitely garden at your own pace. Okay, so I've done 2 trays of cornflowers because I really want to grow them for dried flowers. Lovely cut flower, but also really nice as a dried flower. Cosmos cupcake, but it's a packet from last year, so we'll see if that germinates. I have another packet, but I ran out of seed. I've got some helianthus at the back, 2 trays of Cosmos cupcake actually. Then I have, what's that, Bug? What is that? Oh, Californian poppy. Some California poppies. Now I know you could probably direct sow them into the seed, and again I'm growing them for a pretty cut flower. Then I have zinnias. I just did 1 tray, and the reason why I did the zinnias in those pots is because apparently zinnias don't like their roots to be disturbed. So if you like prick them out and pot them on I think Monty Don said it. I don't know. It was on Gardener's World once. So I've put them in that pot. They can go directly into the ground. I ran out of my little pots, but that's just some lemon balm. So I can make some lemon balm tea. Lovely. I think it's a herb. Is it? Anyway, as you can see, I still have lots of seeds. Oh, you're so cute. Oh, I love how she sparkles in the sunshine. So, I have been saying, I'm staying really still so Bjorg doesn't jump out my arms. Can I just have a cuddle? There's nothing like cuddling your cat and giving them a good sniff. Anyway, she smells like bark. That's all I sewed today because I ran out of sorry, I cannot think because I have a cat. Yeah, I ran out of compost, seed compost and multi-purpose to sieve it and all that, and I just wanted to get started. And then I was like, do you know what, this is a good thing, because I was saying how just in the other garden videos from January, February, that I'm not going to be trying to do everything all at once. I hang up my perfectionist trying to do everything and do everything right hat for this year, and grand. So I'm going to, during the week when I'm pottering and if I go to the garden centre, I will pick up the few bits that I need, because I have loads of seeds I want to sow. Also, I have a packet of this from last year, Ami Magis, you know I'm saying that wrong. It's a Kew Garden, Bishop's Weed, hardy annual. I wanted this again for cut flower or dried flower. Direct sow outdoors where they are to grow from April to June in full sun, semi-shade. Yeah, these have nice height, and I just thought that'd be nice. And I also have some asparagus, because is it asparagus? The seed is in the greenhouse, because I wanted to try that as well as like a cut flower. I don't think it's artichoke, because I saw artichokes in the Wild Garden in Ashtown and they were beautiful, and I was like, what are they? And they were artichokes. So yeah, I still have lots of seeds to do, but I'll let you know. I'm going to move that shelf up so I just have 2 shelves lighting, because I don't want my electricity bills to be out the window. And yeah, I'll let you know how I get on with the light up situation and if my electricity bill's gonna be through the roof. But it would be nice to see, like, if I do get better germination, then it will be a sign that I'm not getting enough light at this time of the year in the greenhouse. So maybe I do need that extra bit of help. Obviously with the light changing, like during the summer the greenhouse gets loads of light. But there's a lesson for you if you are positioning your greenhouse for seeds starting. Check the position. Oh, hang on, there's my doorbell. I better go. Check the position of your greenhouse. I will see you later.